Hello everyone, it's Rafael Gutierrez. Welcome to our channel. Today I'm actually going to talk about the pullback and advantages of it. And I'm actually not just going to look at one, but I'm going to look at three different versions of the pullback. One of them is interesting because most people don't realize that it is a pullback. So the three I'm actually going to use is, if you actually look at boxers, when they punch, they'll pull this one back as this one comes forward. So it acts a little bit as a counterweight. Most of the time people talk about using it to protect their face, to make sure they don't get hit from the other side. If you think about it, if you're here, you're pretty well protected. There are people who are going to get around it. The other one is the one that some of the Okinawan styles have, and that's about where the, what would that be, 7th and 8th rib? It's not the floating ribs. The floating ribs are way back here. So it's about 7th and 8th rib. And one of the things you'll notice with this is as you move, the fist is actually moving linear. You have a circular force going into linear, and at the end, you end up having a slight swing arm. Not actually as big of a swing arm as you would in boxing here. The swing arm here is actually pretty much, if you think about it, you see the arm move, and then this, I know I'm exaggerating, so you end up having the swing arm being able to play more power there. The last one that people sometimes use is pulling back to here. Now, one of the things that happens is you are actually using you are using the swing arm here slightly to come here. Now, if you're actually doing bow, a lot of times you will use this. But when you're punching and pulling here, it really does have just a little bit more distance. It will move a little faster here, but the time it will be the same, because if you think about it, this may be moving slower, but it's a straight line. This here may be moving faster, but it's a more of an angle from where your center is. Now, there is another thing that ends up happening, and that's when you punch. Like I said, when you actually come here, the last little bit, the arm can actually be used as a swing arm, the forearm. If you're here, one of the problems that ends up happening is when you come up, to actually come to a straight line, you do have this arch already happening. So it is easy to punch low, you have it here, but as you come closer, more towards the middle, you end up having almost an arch coming up. And so you actually have to get the arch and then come there. Now, there are other reasons why someone would do that. There are actually different reasons for each of the pullbacks, but what I'm actually just looking at is one of the benefits, which is actually the ability to use your forearm as a swing arm. You also should be able to get a slightly straighter punch coming from here than here. Over here, as you notice, you actually still have that same thing. Now, the reason is this. If you take this lever here, the humerus, you'll notice that it moves in a circle here. As we come farther, if we keep in the area of the circle, we can continuously have a straight line regardless of where we punch. If you see here, you can see straight line here. If I'm coming down, you can see it's straight line. It actually stays within the radius of the circle. Now, if we're outside the radius of the circle, you actually get the angular acceleration, which you can actually do. You can develop a little bit more power, but again, you end up losing the swing arm. Now, I guess this is a really short video. You can see different variations. I would ask you, if you can, whether you agree or not, actually if you disagree, even better, look at the way you punch and try to look at it realistically. Try to look at take a video and see how you can get a straight punch with one version versus another version versus another version, and see why and what works better for you. Now, there might be some people who can actually find other reasons to pull back to the hip instead of coming here or here. But that's actually something that you really can't say, well, this is better because, unless you start doing the math. Now, if I actually did go into the lever mechanics and did all the mathematical calculations, and most people told me that that was overkill. Nobody's interested in that. If some of you are physics majors, please go ahead and show us the equations on how the lever arm would work and how the angles would actually work. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I haven't been making it. I'm actually getting close to finishing, and so I end up not having as much time as I used to. So hope you enjoy this and have a nice day.